Where will Jason Robertson play in the 2026-2027 NHL season? There is a major, major question mark around the Dallas Stars superstar forward that we knew going into this offseason this was going to be a thing. We knew that there was going to be a protracted contract negotiation at the very least, but it seems that we have come to a maybe impasse, at the very least a moment where somebody's going to have to make a decision here, and it's really murky right now which way this thing's going to go.
Well, and this has all kind of come to light with the news that he supposedly or reportedly rejected an 8-year, $15 million average annual value contract from the Seattle Kraken. And so that just begs the question, if you're turning down $15 million a year for an 8-year extension or an 8-year contract, it wouldn't be an extension because he doesn't play for Seattle right now. Then what is driving you? Because we know there's obviously the Kaprizov player for the Wild that's
Kirill
making the
Kaprizov,
most.
Yep,
Yeah.
$17 million a year.
Yeah, and then no one outside of that is making more than 15.
Yeah, I'm over here working. We actually we broke it down. The current, so
sorry.
he was going to,
He's got the list.
Yeah, we have the list. I'm just going to set it up. So he apparently reportedly turned down 8 years for $15 million a year. Here are the current 5 top paid players in the NHL. This would put him at number 2 if he had taken that deal. But this list is, I don't know.
This list is a good example though of how contracts and salaries are based on circumstances. Like Connor McDavid's nowhere on this list.
Hellebuck is nowhere on this list.
Yes. There are reasons, like heck, there's a reason why Dak Prescott was the highest paid quarterback in the NFL for an extended period of time until only just very recently. And it was because of the fact that he created the most leverage. It wasn't because he was the best quarterback in the NFL.
Right.
These guys have been able to create more leverage than McDavid has been able to, at least so far in his career. At some point, he'll probably rectify that, similar to how Patrick Mahomes has in very recent vintage. But that's what a lot of that is. And right now, Robo, who probably isn't the second best player in the NHL, he's really darn good, and he's probably somewhere in the top 10 maybe. Like, he's an exceptional player, but is he going to reset the market because of the position that he has put himself in, because of the advantageous spot he is in to create that leverage that he has? Thank you. Because for whatever reason, even though I said it 14 seconds ago, it had popped out of my brain.
Every 30 seconds.
Mr. Jeopardy forgot.
I have incohesion and
right.
What the hell?
So we'll see. But the fact that he turned down the 8 years and $15 million from Seattle does beg the question, what do you want?
It's like, what else matters?
Because that tells me it's not just about money.
Extra space
because I think that he would be fine with making $15 million a year and being the second highest paid player in the league. So clearly it's about more than just money.
Yeah.
But is it, hey, I want to get my bag and I want to go somewhere that I can contend, and Seattle just isn't that? Or is it even deeper than that? It's, hey, I'm just trying to get Dallas to give me what I need.
Dallas offered him 12, right?
Dallas has offered him 8 years and $12 million reportedly, and he turned that down.
Which would lead you to believe that it is about the money, because it's always about the money. If he turned down 8 for 12, but we were talking when this first came through our group chat last night, and I was like, oh my gosh, I really want to talk about this today. And we were talking about it a little bit this morning. I think there's a couple of things at play. Like, does he want to go to a team, like you said, that he will drop into a team that is already a contender, and the Kraken is just not that team? Is he looking for Carolina, Vegas, Minnesota, Colorado, like some of those that are in contention every year and are more likely to get him a cup? Is he looking for, would he be willing to stay in Dallas if he had an A or a C on his uniform? Is it just about the money. Like these are, or does he want to stay because he likes it here and would like to stay and likes Gulletson and likes Johnston and his teammates, and the fact that, like, did they go as deep as we wanted them to this year? No, but they're not bad. They're better than the Kraken.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, and that's because he also apparently just flatly declined any discussion of being traded to the Blues, which again speaks to he's not trying to go somewhere where he's not going to be able to win. But if he can find, to your point, Kelly, the combination of
that
a team that's willing to give him the bag and they can win, if he can find that. Not sure that he necessarily can, because that's
beggars
difficult
can't
to
be
find.
choosers here.
Well, because
they kind of can, and for him.
Well,
yeah.
he's in an advantageous spot, but those teams that are really good for a reason. It's because they've paid a bunch of other guys a whole bunch of money. So do they have the cap? Like, Dallas doesn't really have the cap space to give him $15 million a year. They're bumping up against the ceiling right now, and that's not really a feasible option for them. I don't know that they've got much more to offer him than the 12 that they have offered him so far. So is this just him doing an exercise trying to squeeze every dollar out of Dallas that he can because he wants to be here, or is he searching for that perfect scenario where he can find the happy duality of
the two
I'm going to get a
situations,
bunch of money and we're going to be able to contend?
There were also reports, I don't know how verified they were or not, that he wants to go to a specific location. And so that could be part of it too. I mean, I don't know. I think with hockey, I mean, not half, but like there are a number of teams that are north of the border. He's an American citizen. So, is that something at play as well, where like he wants to be in a specific location or a specific market? I think it opens up the question, because most of the time you don't see a player turn down that type of salary when it stacks up the way it does against the rest of the league.
I'm very curious if it is the A versus C thing, because I mean that could be very easy. I mean, if it's not truly about the money, it probably is. Because I mean, Kelly even noted it's like if you are going to try to squeeze that and try to give him that money, you're going to lose out on a big player. You're
and
gonna have
who
to,
is that?
And who is that person going to be?
And we talked about this a little bit when we were prepping the show today. But it's like, as much as my little fangirl heart hates to say it, if Ben decides to retire, there's your money.
There's the money that you need.
And we talked about this at the end of the season.
There's the C that you need too, or at least an A.
I don't think he's a C. I think he's an A. Yeah. But if that's what he's looking for is the money and the seniority leadership role in a team that has proven, maybe not as much as obviously like Vegas or Carolina, but a team that is pretty stacked and has the potential to go deep, then maybe he stays.
And Kelly, what did we talk about before the show too? Like how many players this season were the A, at least at one point or another?
They had 5 alternate captains.
5 alternate captains. Yeah. All the names that you would expect outside of Jason Robertson and Wyatt Johnson, but he's so young that, like, again, probably wouldn't expect that. Yeah. So that's just an interesting nugget to also consider when you're talking about, okay, well, what could it be then? Because at this point, it's all conjecture unless you're talking directly to Jason Robertson.
That also
and on
makes
the line,
me wonder.
I'm just kidding. What if he was like on me? Yeah.
Right. It also makes me wonder, though, the fact that they've had so many other guys on the roster wearing the A throughout the season.
Why
is
not?
there is there something there? Is there something about Jason Robertson that, whether it's Glenn Gulletson or Jim Nill or anybody else in between, that has said or decided or opined that, maybe not him?
I mean, the fact that we're even having this discussion, and the fact that he's even, like, the fact that they were open to making this trade with Seattle for him. There are certain players that you don't let walk out of your building, especially when they're that talented and that good, and at that point in their career. And the fact that they're willing to do that with him, I think, says something.
Some of it, though, I think is just math.
Yeah.
They just don't have the space.
Yeah,
if you want 15,
we don't got it.
We can't.
They're pulling their pockets out, inside out, going, bro, it's not here.
We don't got the
if this is what you need, we don't have it.
But could they come back to the table and say, if you would agree to the 8 at 12, we'll give you the A?
We'll do X, Y, and Z. Yeah.
Yeah. That feels like about the only thing that they would have left to offer.
Yeah.
Because I think monetarily they're like
They'd have, like we said, they'd have to get rid of one of the big names.
We'll give you 12.3.
Yeah.
We don't have a whole lot left to give you here. Yeah.
I don't know. I want to see him in Victory Green again next year. It would be, it's like, we talked about at some point towards the end of the season, we talked about this. We were talking about like, is he going to move on and whatever, and it's somebody, it might have been me, compared it to when Luka got traded. And somebody was, and it might have been Jonah, was like, no, he's not that beloved. But he kind of is,
Luka was in a category that was
it wouldn't be the
special.
bombshell of Luka going to the Lakers, but it would be I guess the correlation in my mind that I'm making is that at least from all appearances, this is a guy who seems to enjoy playing here and seems to enjoy his teammates and seems to enjoy the city and the culture like Luka did. Enough that when he got traded, he took out that full page ad in the newspaper thanking the city of Dallas and the Mavericks fans for embracing him. And the vibe just for me at least, it feels the same about Robo, is maybe this is somebody who doesn't want to leave. He just needs to be given a reason to stay.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other option, well, and so one other thought on that. If he does get traded, the thing that will make it the most different from Luka, Jim Nill will make sure to get every ounce of value that should be gotten in exchange for him, and it will not debilitate the franchise.
Well, and it's already different than Luka because Jason is part of the discussion.
Exactly.
And
He
there
had
is
the
a part of
opportunity
him
to
that
say
is
no.
looking elsewhere because he's not getting what he
There's
wants.
no blindside element to this.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
Not
to even
at all.
have had him had the opportunity to say no. But, I think, and I'm trying to remember exactly back to what the article we saw yesterday, it was a 7th pick in the first round.
Would have been the 7th pick in tonight's first round.
Tonight's first round, because the draft opens tonight, and then free agency starts on Wednesday next week on the 1st.
July 1st, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens. We talked about this in May. We're talking about it again now at the end of June, beginning of July. We'll probably be talking about it again in September, October.
Yeah.
Well, but this is going to come to a head at some point. This is going to come to a conclusion. I don't think at this point that it would be today, because if it was going to be in advance of the draft, I think it would have been the Seattle trade. But the other trade that has been not reported on as a possibility, but more rumored about by the pundits, is Dylan Larkin of the Red Wings that has requested a trade. And could that be, especially given Jim Nill's connection to the Red Wings, that was where he worked for a long time before he came here to Dallas, could that be a potential avenue for them to make probably not a one-for-one trade?
The sigh. The deep sigh.
Well, no, here's the thing. Because my secondary team after the Stars is the Red Wings. Because my dad was born and raised in Michigan, so he raised me as a Michigan sports fan. And as talented as Dylan Larkin is, I don't think he fits the vibe.
Well, and he also doesn't fit what they need. They don't need a centerman.
Yeah.
That's also true.
They're loaded that's the other, as much as I understand. One, I don't know that he's quite as talented as Robo is. This could not be a one-for-one
swap.
I don't think, trade.
Yeah.
There would have to be some other element of the deal. And then you look at just the Stars roster and what they have versus what they need. It doesn't jive.
Yeah.
So it's been whispered about, but I don't think that it's got a whole lot of legs.
The only other rumor that I saw yesterday that's not Dallas related at all is Hellebuck to the Canes.
Wow.
Which
because
would
the Canes need more.
I know, right? Like their embarrassment of riches wasn't enough. They got to take the league's
talent.
best goalie as well. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess what are you going to do? It's going to be an interesting. I mean, I know people don't pay attention to the NHL draft, and we talked about this the other day as well. It's because it's not a pipeline straight. Like you're not starting.
It's like baseball.
Right. It's like baseball.
Yes.
Exactly. You're going to
those two are very
play
similar.
around a little bit before you come up. I mean, they signed Robertson in 2017? They drafted him.
That 17 draft basically built
Our current team.
Who they are now.
But it was 2 or 3 years before we ever saw him lace up skates in Dallas.
Yeah.
And I know people don't pay a lot of attention to NHL free agency, but I do think it's going to be an interesting
It's going to
They'll
matter.
pay attention,
It's going to
yeah,
matter around here
when-
because it's going to be
Yeah.
part of what decides this whole situation.
I have a theory that he's not going to be the only big name that we
That
don't
leaves?
see we don't see in Victory Green when the season starts.
Who's your other?
I was going to say who. Like now, I'm curious.
Jamie.
Is it
I'm
Jamie?
sorry, we need to take a break.
Oh, time's up.
I'm just kidding. No, okay. This is wild speculation. I think Ben is going to
I
come
love
back.
hot takes. Let's
yeah,
do
I know.
it.
I think Ben is going to try to come back for one more year, try to get a cup.
Okay.
I think at least one or two of the Swedish Mafia is going to go.
Ooh.
Which one?
There's any of them really, but
The Finnish Mafia?
or the Finnish Mafia. Sorry,
Yeah.
not Swedish.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
We're still thinking about Sweden.
I know,
from
from
yesterday.
yesterday. Yeah. It's
All
okay.
those- all
And
those-
the Swedish
all
Mafia,
those,
is that a band?
Yeah, all those Scandinavian countries blend
Do you
together.
have a
Jonah doesn't
fjord?
know.
Do you have a fjord? Yes. Okay,
Yes?
you're all the
Okay.
same.
Yeah.
We do have
sorry,
to hit a
Finnish-
break.
Yeah,
When we
I
come
told
back.
you we had to hit a break. Nobody believes me.
When we come back, we're telling you who we thought nailed it from the past week.
Oh my gosh, my buttons are
Oh,
all
no.
crazy.
Oh, no.
What is
Oh,
happening?
no.
What is
Jason
happening?
Robertson
Do your
nailed it.
job.
Jason Robertson
I'm
nailed
trying
it.
to do my job.